Today on Dice to Pixels, we're going to be talking about some board game stuff. Sarah's got a surprise for me, and it sounds like there's some Game Boy Advance new games coming out, or at least one.
Trez Excite.
Sorry?
Trez Excite.
Trey, yeah. So I want the surprise first.
No.
Okay, fine. Well, you know what? Why don't you tell us? You just told us about it, but tell the audience about the Game Boy Advance, because that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so just browsing on Kotaku here right now, and they have a news story about a game that was delayed for 22 years that's finally out. A game called, I'm going to assume this is Kien, Kien. One of the longest delayed games in history is finally out on Nintendo's old handheld. It was from a group of people in 2002 from Italy. They started development on an action platformer game with RPG elements for the Game Boy Advance. 22 years later, apparently, it's finally out.
For Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, for Game Boy Advance, yeah.
I love that they didn't switch the platform.
It's funny too, because in this article they reference Duke Nukem Forever, which, as most of you know, in the gaming sphere,
Duke Nukem Never
took forever, right? It was announced for like way back in the 90s, I think.
I searched Duke Nukem Never, and it autocorrects to Duke Nukem Forever. That's awesome.
So apparently they ran into a lot of development issues. Imagine that.
Clearly.
The game, it's insanely interesting. I'm curious as to know how they're gonna be releasing this and why is it not on Steam.
Actually, that's interesting. Apparently, Duke Nukem Forever holds the Guinness Book World Record for the longest development of a video game.
How long was that?
15 years.
Oh,
not anymore.
So it sounds like these people might be getting a Guinness record. I wonder if that's why they kept it for Game Boy Advance.
Maybe.
Yeah,
because otherwise it might not count.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a digital edition that currently is $14 Canadian to buy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Crazy. I'm kind of puzzled. Sure, I understand, like, if you had like the architecture for like the Game Boy Advance, but I mean, not that difficult to translate to a PC or, Steam or whatever.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I wonder if they will take that world record. That would be pretty funny.
You heard it here, Guinness. We know you're watching.
Of course.
I would assume that they will have already gone. That actually makes it make a little more sense, because surely they're not going to sell that many copies for the Game Boy Advance, but to get the world record, that would be worth releasing it. They'll probably release one for the Switch
at some point,
later this year.
Yeah.
And they're just looking for the media cycle, which
honestly smart.
Well deserved. Yeah. Fuck it. Rock on. That's
maybe
clever.
There was a kid I saw this week at work in the waiting room who was playing a Game Boy Color, and he was like maybe 13 at the oldest, so maybe he'll be playing a GBA next time he comes in.
He's just perpetually like 20 years back. I still want a translucent purple Game Boy Color.
Oh,
that's what I had back in the day. That's why I want it, is because that's what I had back in the day.
So
I want an old. I miss the controllers that were see-through. I miss see-through everything.
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
I actually had see-through everything controllers. I always, like, if it was see-through, I would always just buy it.
Yeah.
Just to clear, like, not like colored. It had to be like clear, like just translucent. Like,
yeah, I like actually translucent, but I'm okay with like colored translucent too.
I had a green, like a vibrant neon green see-through PlayStation controller at one point.
Nice.
That was great.
Yeah.
I had a translucent green Xbox controller.
Ooh.
For the original. Well, and that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
It surprised me because I maybe I've missed it and they have actually done it, but it amazes me with all of the special Xboxes that they've brought out, the no translucent ones. I'm wondering if I was going to say something really stupid there. I was going to say, like, I wonder if they're trying to keep secrets, but of course you can just fucking open it up.
Yeah.
So, I'm smart. I would love I probably wouldn't pay extra for it or anything, and I already have one. But
Mhm.
if there had been like a translucent Series X when I went, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It's like with the PS5 and like all the different casings you can buy for it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it looks bigger than it is, but there's really nothing to it in like guts wise.
Well, what's his face? I think it's DIY Perks is the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
He created a like PS5 Slim, and aside from the cooling, which is substantial,
Mhm.
the actual guts fit in like a little, like basically the size of my MacBook.
Jesus.
And he had to run it to an external cooler because you still need a lot of cooling, but the actual guts of it are tiny. So yeah. Elden Ring, I saw the updates coming out.
DLC's out already, but
Yeah, that's right. That's what I meant. Yeah.
it's already
I
out.
said coming out. I meant came out. Bunch of people talking about it. People still bitching about it being too hard.
Yeah, I've got a group of friends that I've known for years. Most of them from the States. A couple of them are like Dark Souls aficionados. They're all about them. And one of them had said in our chat how it took him 6 hours to beat one boss who I guess wasn't even a boss. It was just like a really hard enemy in the game or in a section of the game.
Yeah.
And that just blew me away, like hearing it come from him, because I'm like, dude, you're like Mr. Dark Souls, him and my other buddy, the two of them are just like back and forth. They're dropping names, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
But you know what? I bet he felt fucking great when he beat it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Which is why Dark Souls doesn't need to be fucking easier.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation.
We talked about that.
I'm just
last
grumpy
week.
about it because I've been seeing it on fucking X all week. Is
Yeah.
people bitching about, oh, it needs a pause button. It needs to be easier. It's like, fuck off.
Well, I have something that will make you happy.
Okay.
This is your surprise now. Yes. Factorio's Big Space Age expansion has a release date.
That's the 2.0.
Yes.
The space. Hang on. Give me a second. I have to look this up. That's awesome. I was looking. Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I should have fucking realized that. They changed. I'm only realizing this now that you've told me this, but they changed the banner for the Steam page today. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought it had just gotten like another update because they update it all the time. They changed the banner. So I should have probably put 2 and 2 together because I play Factorio on like a daily basis. I'm working through a C block run right now.
So on October 21st, you're going to want to take the day off work?
Yeah. Well, the week off work at this rate. I will. I'll have to see if I can get my C block done by then. Which I don't know. Do either of you know anything about
Nope.
C block?
No idea.
So for anyone who, I'll keep this short because I know people probably don't care that much. But normal Factorio, you have to build through all of the technological advances to launch a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with like iron and copper, and you build out like automated manufacturers, and then better ones and better ones and better ones, and you have to like refine oil and all kinds of stuff. C block, you start on just an island, a tiny island, and you have to like. It's the same basic game, but you start with, you can forage for driftwood and you can like filter water. You can filter like rocky substance out of the water. And then you have to like smelt that into rock. And then you have to like use that to do other chemical. It takes the tech tree from like probably 80 items to, I don't know, 1,000 probably.
Oh my god!
It's one of those things where people play it. You watch like a Factorio series on YouTube, and it has like 15 chapters, something like that. C Block will have like 400. It's fucking nuts. But anyways, I started that recently, and we'll see if I can get it done by October. I have a goal now. October 21st.
It's a Monday.
Ew,
I'll just
that's
take the
weird.
rest of that month.
I think it was a Monday.
I actually could take the rest of that month off.
I mean, that's only 2 weeks. So
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's
Yeah,
not even 2 weeks.
Just weird for.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Wow. Okay.
I think they tend to release on Monday. I
thought it
mean,
was
the thing is,
Tuesday.
Factorio, I mean, it doesn't matter when they release something.
No.
Everyone, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they've got pre-orders up in the near future, and everyone who plays the game will have pre-ordered it. It is interesting though. Well, interesting. It's mildly interesting. There's already a space mod that somebody built for Factorio that does a bunch of the same sorts of things as the new update does. And so they've been talking about it as they've been building out the 2.0 update and saying like, hey, you know, we know there's already a mod. We're doing things differently. And like, here's how it's different. And here's why you should still care. And in fairness, they're doing a good job, but it is amusing to watch the developers of the game be like, yeah, we know the community beat us to the punch by like a full fucking year on this, but don't worry, ours will still be good. So yeah, I'm super excited. That'll be amazing. I'm especially with KSP2 shutting down.
Yeah.
Which is truly dead and gone. There's been no talk about them getting bought out or anything else. They're just done. So
That's unfortunate. At least you still have the first one, though, right?
well, and amusingly, actually, the modding community for KSP1 has kicked back into gear now because KSP2 has been canceled.
Yeah.
So, and given that 2, they didn't change the engine, they were just building it on top of KSP1. There's like this sort of question of, is the community just going to build KSP2? Probably. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Sequels that aren't sequels. I love them.
Oh God, yeah, like,
but in a good way, not in a shitty way.
Yeah, like I look at it's funny because I look at how Destiny was at the end of Destiny 1, and they had it seemed like it was in a good spot. It seemed it was playing well, it was balanced well, and then they came out with Destiny 2, and at the time it was just like, what the fuck is this? And I remember so many people, like now it's obviously it's fleshed out into, I don't know, I haven't played Destiny 2 in probably over a year now because I'm just done with it. I hate how it is now. Whereas with Destiny 1, I could buy Destiny 1, turn it on and play through the entire fucking story minus some, you know, like FOMO stuff, obviously. But I did that stuff. For the most part, you could play the story from beginning to end in Destiny 1 and get like the gist of it. With Destiny 2, you can't because they have like their content vault or whatever.
Oh, I see.
But then you look at like The Division, right? The Division, fun. I dug it. And I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before, but when they brought out The Division 2, how it added so much to the same formula, just bigger environments, some more skill, some better like tech trees, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, better.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't need to go crazy with the sequel to make it good. There's a lot of studios that think you need to do something crazy, like Cat Quest.
Yeah.
Is a good example.
Yeah.
Cat Quest 2 is like it's different, but it's mostly story.
And they added
the
co-op.
mechanic. I mean, the mechanics technically are very different, but they don't feel that different.
Yeah. They
They're a
added,
natural evolution.
It's basically Cat Quest 1, but they added co-op.
Yeah.
And the co-op is actually
good.
You know, you can play it solo and have like an
which
AI.
Which I did.
Yeah, same here. They have like the AI companion that controls like the other. So if you're playing the cat, it'll play as the dog, and whenever you switch, it switches.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was basically still the same thing as the first Cat Quest, which is why I'm so keenly interested in Cat Quest 3.
Yeah,
going with the whole pirate, the pirate route thing. Story wise, I get it.
I think I trust them.
Yeah.
They nailed the sequel. I think I trust them. I think it'll be good.
Gentleman Bros, I believe, is what the studio is.
That rings a bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, sequels don't have to be like crazy revamps. They can just be improvements.
Yeah. Well, even like the game Unraveled. I know you've never played it, but
no, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, Unraveled 2 is pretty much the same thing too. It just had a secondary character that you could play co-op or whatnot, and it just changed how you interacted with the string that you were
puzzles.
Yeah.
Certain
I mean,
puzzles.
Rock Band and Guitar Hero are probably the most iconic ones for like evolutionary changes. It's like, here's the new set list. In fairness, they improved things a little bit from game to game, or changed things anyway.
I mean, there's Microsoft
Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
that's been a sort of bitwise evolution since it came out, and I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That if you are into flight sims, it's actually crazy because there is not. I am not aware of another flight sim in terms of the gap between it and anything else in its genre. Like there isn't even anything else in the genre for all intents and purposes.
Mhm.
There is Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then there are like the professional, like commercial pilot training stuff. And other than that, don't even fucking bother.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how far they've come with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never dabbled in it, but I don't know. The whenever you see like simulator in anything, to try and simulate what, the flight sim or truck sim or farm sim, simulating that with a controller kind of isn't really simulating.
Well, so that's where flight sim comes in is I mean, it costs thousands of dollars, but they support all of your custom controls.
Yeah.
Like you can take stuff out of a plane's cockpit and attach it through, I think they use like a MIDI interface or something. And you can, like, there are people that have full on replica cockpits hooked up to flight sim. So but I agree, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's not playing it with an Xbox controller is like, it's kind of charming, but it's not a simulator.
Yeah, like a buddy of mine had like the full racing setup for when he played
I'd like to do.
Gran Turismo 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I just remember like he literally sat down in it, and like how he was sitting and everything. It was like, okay, you're clearly in a car.
Yep.
But I'm watching him play this game, and it's like, all right, cool. You drive like that here. Like, let's go, bud.
I would love to do a proper racing setup and play some F1 2024. But I've said it before, it's not even necessarily the cost, although these days I don't really feel like spending $1,500 on a setup. It's the space.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a place in Guelph that has something.
I think you said that last time, and we intended to check it out and never got around to it.
Yeah, it's like right downtown. It's right around the corner from where I work.
Yeah, but, we should actually check that out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because that is the sort of thing that you can just go and try.
Yeah.
Racing is like car control is more approachable than flight control. So
I'd be interested to know if anyone has a setup for farming simulator.
Yes, I've seen them.
There's like tractor setups.
Yeah. I don't know what games they have to play in order to like get it hooked up, because I don't think Farming Simulator has any special like controller support.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I've seen them, and I assume they're real because they seem to be real. There, you can find videos of people like TikTok and whatever.
I mean, I can imagine that would work pretty much only for more modern tractors.
Yeah.
I grew up around antique tractors, so like anything that I grew up with, if you could simulate that, that's amazing, because there is no power steering in those at all.
Well, actually, that's not as hard as you'd think, because there are actually servo steering wheels that actually have quite a bit of resistance to them.
Oh.
Yeah. Like even some of the higher end racing sim steering wheels, they've got a fair bit of pushback.
So you see, it's not only just that though, too. There's tractors that have chain drive on them, and you're spinning that wheel before anything happens. Sure. I feel like, though, anyone who's likely to want to simulate an old tractor like that, other than just for like novelty, they just would go out and hop on their tractor that they have at their farm.
Yeah.
But I don't have a farm.
I bet that if we talked real nice to one of the local farmers, we'd have to find one with an old tractor.
There's lots of them.
They'd be like, "You want to do free work for a day? Okay."
Yeah, I also don't have to simulate it because I've done donuts in one.
There you go.
Yeah, they
by
were
donuts,
super
I mean
scary.
donut.
Yeah.
And it was like a big, long, like...
And it took a solid minute to do, I remember.
Say, I don't think you did many donuts in a tractor.
I said donut.
So I think we're actually... Well, we've got a few minutes, but I want to talk about this board game stuff.
Yeah.
So...
oh, yeah, y'all missed this last week or whatever. You forgot to talk about this last week.
No, this is brand new.
Oh.
There's at least I don't think I knew about it last week, because I think I found out about it on Sunday. The gaming group that I play with, Boardgame Arena. Now, I was going to talk about Boardgame Arena last week, and I never really got around to it. But this is related, so all good. There's a World Board Game Series in Las Vegas, which is a week-long system. You go down, and these are the numbers we're using. I'm pretty sure they're the same as what they use there. You play 16 games, and you play in brackets of 4 players, whatever. They're all games that are meant for 4 players ostensibly. So you play all of your qualifying rounds. So you play each of the 16 games and you rank accordingly in those. And then in the semifinals, you play the games that you didn't perform well at again. So you have to get better at the second round in order to move on.
That's
awesome. And it's this really interesting tournament structure. I won't go into all the details because A, I don't really remember them all, and B, go look it up if you care. But we're replicating that. The board game group that I've gotten into on Slack through my brother and his friends and everything else, there's some pretty hardcore board gamers in that group, and so we're replicating that on Board Game Arena. So they went through and they elected 16 different board games, and it's going to be a 10-month tournament because it's all asynchronous. So instead of doing it all in a week, we're allotting 15 days per game. So basically 2 games a month. And we're doing the same tournament structure as the Vegas tournament and everything else, so that we can crown our own world champion, World Series board game champion.
Now, are you going to have a $25,000 first place?
We will not. No. In fairness, the real one has prizes. We will. Well, actually, we will have prizes. They'll just be created by us.
Yeah.
Like
25,000 chicken nuggets.
That's right. My brother will probably create something with his shaper, some cute plaque or something. Yeah. I'll do something with the laser cutter. There will be some sort of a prize, but it won't be a $25,000 cash prize. But yeah,
a plaque that says $25,000.
Yeah, that maybe. Here, we got you this novelty check for $25,000. It doesn't work. It's not backed up by a real check. But
it's literally the trophy. Congratulations.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, so I'll update periodically on that. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty slow burn because it's going to last for 10 months. But once I get a feel for how it's going, we don't have enough people in the regular followers to do that. But I wonder if we could do a smaller version of it with the Dice to Pixels fan base. Yeah. So few as they are. Yeah. I know Richter would probably be on board. He'd want to do it in person though. Yeah. We gotta go and play fucking games with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super cool, and I'm really excited about it. And the fact that it's a 10-month span is pretty awesome. But I have been playing so much. I've been playing way more board games than anything because of Board Game Arena. If you are a board game, I'm sure most people already know about it. I was way late to the party. I knew about it, but I had never really used it much. But the premium subscription on Board Game Arena, it's 48 Canadian a year, and God damn, it is worth every penny. Yeah. And then times a million. It's so fucking good.
I've played a few of the premium games, but I've waited for other people.
We need to get you and me and Danielle playing a game. We keep forgetting, have you tried Arc Nova? Have you tried?
No, I haven't.
Okay, we need to teach you to Arc Nova and Terraforming Mars, and then we need to play those. Because those are the two that we've been playing most. Yeah. There are lots of other games. We can play Wingspan and stuff, but Terraforming Mars and Arc Nova are the ones that we've been playing most.
Yeah.
I like Arc Nova more. It's got a little bit less luck and more skill, I find. And also the flow, I find, is a bit better.
Yeah.
But
there is an overwhelmingly large number of board games.
There's quite a few, yeah.
It's oh my God. Half the time I'm I don't know, this box cover thing looks interesting. Let's see what this game's about. And that's how I've found some games.
Yeah, for sure. I have not done nearly as much exploring as I should. Conveniently, this tournament will expose me to it. I was going through the list and I'm I've heard of that. I've played that. No fucking clue what that game is. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to the first pairing is a game that I've never heard of. I could figure out what it is, but I'll let you know next. We haven't started yet, so I'll let you know once we actually start it. And it's paired up because it's always the most difficult against the least difficult, and then it's like second most versus second most. And so the first one, the least difficult, I think, is Azul, which is a pretty non-difficult game. But
they just released a new version of it.
Oh yeah,
there. Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's like a DLC type thing or something like that.
Could be.
But
I was actually interested. The Arc Nova developers, like the actual game developers, they released because there's people that have played so many games on Board Game Arena. They were like, we're going to release a new map pack for Board Game Arena. It's basically the same because you have a choice of like 8 different zoos that you can do in Arc Nova. And so they released like slight modifications for them. They're not totally different. They're still thematically the same, but like they move some bonuses around and stuff to give people a little bit more like options when they've played 1,000 games of it. So that's cool. I'm like, it's really nice that the developers of it are like on board and everything else. Yeah. Been loving the hell out of it, and goddamn, I cannot recommend it enough for anyone who's into board games. $48 a year is just absolutely nothing for the amount of games you get.
Considering it's cheaper than a lot of really good board games too.
I mean, it's literally cheaper than most of the games that I play on it.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty
Board Game Pass.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's fantastic. So.
Board Game Pass.
So
I like that.
We'll wrap up this episode here, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. We're actually going to be filming another one right now.
Yeah, I'm going on vacation.
Chad's gone next week, and I might be gone next week too. So we'll see. But we will see you next week. But for us, it'll be 2 seconds. More than 2 seconds.
Maybe 3.
At least 3.
I need an on vacation sign I can hang up right here.
Gone fishing.
We'll put a community post up that has you gone fishing. Thanks so much for watching. We love you all, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Toodles.